This episode is brought to you by Delaware Orthopedic Specialists. Dr. Mace has been with the pod for a couple of years now, and he has provided some incredible insight when it comes to Eagles, Flyers, Sixers, Phillies, and it's only getting better from here. Obviously, we're hoping for a very healthy season and that we don't need to hear his injury updates as often as we're inevitably going to, but at least you know where to go to hear the best updates. And now you know where to go when you try to be a weekend warrior and end up being on the injury list yourself. Delaware Orthopedic Specialists, locations all throughout the first state. They are the only fellowship-trained surgery center here in the state of Delaware, so really, why would you trust anyone other than a specialist? You hear his expertise here on the pod. Now let his expertise at the table and all of the providers there work wonders on whatever injury or illness you have. Head on over to delortho.com or give him a call, 302-655-9494. Don't trust anyone other than a specialist.
Welcome to Talking 215, your go-to podcast for everything you need to know about Philly sports. Whether you bleed green, trust the process, fly with the Flyers, or fight with the Fightins, this is the place where we break down Broad Street. Jake, Sean, and Joey deep dive into the heart of Philly sports culture, breaking down games, roster moves, and sharing the stories that make the 215 truly legendary. So grab a cheesesteak, settle in, and let's get to talking 215. Now here's your host, Jake Biasato.
Worst weekend ever. That sucked. I mean, we had the opportunity. Coach, you said it before we went live. Like, this was the Mecca weekend. You got Phils. You got Birds going to go 5-0. Start Red October off strong. Harper, Schwarber. I mean, these guys just live for this moment. What the fuck?
I don't know. I'm speechless with
fun.
Everything. That's good podcast content that nobody has anything to say.
Oh, I've got plenty to say. I have got plenty to talk about today.
Where do you want to start? Like, there's a million different ways you can go. I don't know what your plan was for the podcast. Do you want to talk about the Birds shit in the bed?
Just get something off your chest. Everybody
get Phillies just letting the entire city down and completely shit in the bed when the lights were brightest. Where do you want to start?
Coach, I got a question for you, Coach. What was it that we said the Diamondbacks did that just changed everything that we never made an adjustment to? After game 2 or game 3 or whatever, what did they do? Where they literally said, yeah, this is what we're doing. It worked out. What was it?
We're not throwing anything in the zone.
Yeah.
We're going to make them chase.
The Dodgers threw 54% balls in the strike zone game 1. That's the highest the Phillies have seen in fucking forever. So they were like, you know what? We'll throw them whatever the fuck we want. They ain't going to do shit. Like, if it was, oh, we're chasing, like, oh, it's the same thing and the result is the same, but this team is so lost. They are just completely just gone with the wind out there right now. They can do whatever they want and we can't hit it. I mean, how many times did we watch Schwarber just stare at a meatball down the middle of the plate and then strike out on ball 5 that's 10 inches off? I mean, it's like, it's just infuriating. That it used to be, hey, throw whatever, they'll chase, but don't miss in the zone because they'll make you, they'll punish you. Nope.
Throw
it wherever you want.
You know what's funny? Dan could probably go back and edit out the names of the teams we played from last year, the year before, and we're probably having the same conversation, right? About chasing pitches, about not taking what they give you, about not hunting fastballs, about Kevin Long. What does he do? About the players, for some reason, just think that they've arrived, and all of a sudden, and I'll say this about the Phillies: if they win the NL East, if they're a top seed with a bye, you can forget about them doing anything in the playoffs. They need to be that last team in that squeaks in, that puts on the underdog masks and says, our backs against the walls. We need to do everything. We need to empty the clip in order to win this game. That's the fight they had against the Cardinals. That's the fight they had against the Braves. That's the fight they had against all these teams when they played. But once they're like, oh, we're that back-to-back NL East champs, we're a 2 seed without having to do anything, they go into this relaxed mode. And you could just, as a Phillies fan, you feel it. You're like, I don't expect them to get a hit here. Prime example, 2 years ago, if you had runners on first and second with no out and Bryce is up, you're like, oh, man, like, this is hell for the pitcher. He strikes out on 4 pitches and none of them are even close to the zone. Next player pops up. Next player strikes up. There's just nothing to where you're like, they've remembered what cost them and they've adjusted. They remembered what eliminated them against the Mets last year and adjusted. They remembered what eliminated them against the Diamondbacks and changed it. No, they're doing the same thing. And for those of you that know about quotes, you probably know what the definition of insanity is because they are the prime examples of it.
Damn, Coach stole what I was going to say. It's spot on, Coach. That's exactly how I was gonna walk into this. Are you guys insane? Because I'm not insane, and I know the definition of insanity, and I knew my expectations were exactly that. I know it's tough, right? Because year after year we go back to the playoffs and keep kind of sputtering out. But I definitely went into this thinking like I'm just not going to get my hopes up high.
Yeah,
can't get hurt.
Nah, you're alone there. I was so hyped. I was so hyped for the postseason. Like I got amped up. I was like, all right, it's not dancing on my own. So what am I jamming to? Like, what am I putting on volume 20 right now and just rocking out to? I'm so hyped. I had all these people over for game one, and it was just such an utter disappointment. And what kills me is, like, you guys know, I'm not a Rob Thompson guy. Like, I'm really not. It's shocking here, but I just think he's a fine regular season manager. He does very little for me, and he does absolutely nothing in the postseason. He quite legitimately costs you games. And just for them to lose, they did in game one, where you get out to a 3-0 lead, and then you just have nothing coming from your manager. Just absolute, complete mismanagement of the bullpen, complete mismanagement of the game. I mean, what infuriates me is before game one, oh, hey, Ranger, he's going to be available out of the bullpen game one, and he still might play game three, still might start game three. Perfect prime opportunity to go to Ranger in the 7th. But now let's go with the 40-year-old who has shown you nothing since he's been on this team. He barely eked out of the 6th, where he threw 5 or 6 balls. I mean, 2 of them were tickling the black, so they were close. They weren't like way out of the zone. But he gets bailed out by a guy that swings 3-0, 3-1, 3-2. Just completely bails him out. And you say, like, that at bat gave me no confidence that, oh, this guy's got it going. And then you go back to him in the 7th. He gets absolutely rocked. You go to Strom, who, for whatever reason, had no control of his fastball. And again, I said it in the group text. I put this on JT as well. Every time he called for a fastball up, he knew no idea where it was going to go. It was either going 1.5 feet out. It was hanging right over the middle. And you watch JT, you see, fastball up. You see him put his glove up there. And what does he do? He throws just a floating 93 to 95 mile per hour fastball right down the zone, smashed out of the park.
Did you see Teoscar Hernandez's heat map in his strike zone? It's red at the top. It's red at the top. So why are we even calling high fastball?
Yeah. No, I mean, I've said it for a long time. JT, great catcher. He was at a time the greatest catcher in baseball. And there's been this report on him from a long time. He doesn't call good games. He's not a Chooch. Chooch was a 250 hitter. If you were, on a good month, he'd be good for a clutch hit every now and then. But Halladay, Hamels, all these guys were like, nobody calls a game like Chooch. I mean, Halladay, he said in his perfect game, he shook him off not once. Not one time did he have to shake him off because he just had such a good feel for the game. And it's obviously on Strom for throwing that meatball. But JT, you don't call for a high fastball again, for one, with a guy that has no command of his high heat right now, and 2, against a guy that is his wheelhouse. That is where he lives and breathes.
We all know it. I don't.
And not for nothing, you strike out Ohtani 4 times and you lose that game. That's what
If you had told me,
I didn't say that.
That we score 3 runs off Ohtani and strike him out 4 times, and he goes 0 for 5 in the game.
Yep. How do you lose that game? It reminded me of Game 6 of the World Series. It's like, guys throwing great, pull them, and then boom, they get the kill shot.
Yeah. I mean, if Ranger Suarez is available, at what point were you going to use him? He's like, what are you doing? You want to go to a righty? Why not go to Walker Buehler? The guy knows the team. The guy is used to pitching in clutch situations. He's a proven right-handed pitcher. You want to talk about a veteran? Oh, he wasn't veteran enough because he's not 40 years old. And then Rob Thompson's moronic ass after the game. Oh, why'd you go back to Robertson there? Oh, well, he only threw 6 pitches, so that wasn't very many pitches. So I knew he could throw more. Thanks, Rob.
I'm gonna be honest. I critique Rob a lot, and I think Rob's bullpen decisions are bad. I think this solely lies on our top 4 hitters.
Yeah, of course.
I'm being 100% honest. There comes a point in time where your star players need to play. Your star players need to show up. And I just think as an opposing pitcher, if you have one of the fastest guys in baseball and the guy that won the batting crown this year in Trey Turner, the guy that hit the most home runs in baseball and had the most RBIs this year in Kyle Schwarber, 2-time NL MVP in Bryce Harper. You have that quote-unquote murderer's row coming up, and they don't even show up. And we're hoping Harrison Bader with one hamstring can get a sac fly. We're hoping Nick Castellanos, that's been relegated to playing 2 times a week, can throw his bat out there and get a bloop single. We're hoping Edmundo Sosa, who's a utility player, career, can hit a home run with the bases loaded. This is what we're doing? No, but that's what we have to rely on because your star players do not show up when it matters. We sit on this podcast and we talk about the Sixers being chumps. We talk about the Dallas Cowboys all the time being these regular season warriors getting to the playoffs and then shit in the bed. Like, it is so tough to talk about them anymore if we have the same thing in our backyard.
Well, they don't even make the playoffs anymore.
Well, and like all year we talked about fundamentals. They can't play small ball. They can't run the bases. They don't know how to have defensive alignments. You just said JT doesn't understand how to call a game or frame it even. Sometimes it'll be in the black and he'll just throw it right back without holding it. The fundamentals cost you, Sean. I know you want to get in there on the Trey Turner throw. That's a fundamental play. Casting not have a secondary lead or knowing where Mookie Betts is, that's a fundamental play as well. We're going to talk about the bunt, I'm sure, here coming up. I actually think it was the right thing because we've been begging for small ball all year, and this offense cannot hit, and it was lefty on lefty. It would have made sense. But I don't understand how bad they are fundamentally and keep doing it.
Yeah, so we can talk about all of the different coaches' decisions, and I think Rob Thompson had a huge role in that game 1 loss, right? I don't think David Robertson had any business going back out there. I think he should. I wasn't expecting Topper to even play him very often, much less go out for what appeared to be maybe get 4 outs, right? Especially after being shaky. What was that in the 6th? But yeah, you're right. Your star players have to show up. That's who's playing the damn game, right? You've got Kyle Schwarber that looks completely lost. We're at Citizens Bank Park. Why do you have this glazed over look in your eyes? Like, Citizens Bank Park is not some glorious place where you have the craziest home field advantage. Apparently the pressure's too much for them. We have a home field disadvantage. We're something like 3-5, in our last 8 games at the bank. Like, we now have a losing record over our last 8 games here. Like, the lights are too bright. This team is clearly not built to win when it matters the most, right? You talk about Trey Turner. Trey Turner's been gaffing all over the damn place, right? Single-handedly costing this game too. Bryce Harper, it feels like, hasn't worked more than like a 5-pitch at bat in either game. He's striking out swinging what feels like on 3 or 4 pitches. Like, just send him up and knock him down. These are your $300 million people. Kyle Schwarber is going to go somewhere where he's going to get paid $40 million a year next year. Like, you're absolutely right. You cannot be relying on Max Kepler, right? You can't be relying on Harrison Bader to save your ass. You can't be relying on Bohm to come up big in a clutch moment. Clearly, you can't rely on Bryson Stott, right?
You don't know. You didn't get the opportunity.
Like, when the opportunity does arise, you want him to shrink for it. Like, the players know, the manager knows, and the fans know this team is cooked. They're cooked. Take them out back like Old Yeller. I didn't even watch that movie. I don't even know how the dog dies, but they're done for.
I mean, you're taking it out back to shoot it, so I think you do know how the dog dies. But
Did Old Yeller get shot?
Yes.
Okay.
That's what you're insinuating.
I
with
wasn't
that.
sure if I got those from the same place.
Yeah.
Thank you for clarifying.
No worries. That's what I'm here for.
Yeah. No, you're talking about everything like it's just ridiculous how it's the same thing every time. And look, would it help if I told you that, when you're swinging well, it's like there's wind in your sails, but if you're not playing well, it's like the wind's, working against you, with Cassie talking about the fans. Give them something to cheer about. Give them something to cheer about and they will support you. If you play like shit, it's not our job. We're not getting paid tens of millions of dollars to win baseball games. It is not our job to have you go out there and play well. Trust me, in a tight game, I want our fans giving them hell. I want them making the opposition, shaking in their boots to play out there. I want them nervous. I want you being as loud as you can. But when you're playing like shit and you're getting blown out in your house and just your top players are giving you absolutely nothing, and every time you get a tiny glimmer, you just slam the door shut on your own fans, what do you expect us to do? It's just absurd that you're going to go out there and say that. I mean, Casty already knows that he's not coming back. I mean, he's so checked out. And look, he had a fine ninth inning. Like, that was a good battle. He threw a bat down there. He had a great slide into second base. Coach, you're saying that you're not mad at the bunt because you said, hey, how many times have we asked them to play small ball? That's great. But how many times have they fucking done it? If they had done it successfully all year long, great. Do it. But you're saying, how many times have we asked?
But Stott
you don't go out.
Stott hasn't hit lefties all year long.
We wanted them to. We wanted them to get good at it. They never did it. So why now are you pulling it out of your ass at the biggest moment when clearly your players don't have a clue what to do?
The bunt was fine, though. I know
the bunt was fine. The bunt was fine. But Castellanos had no idea what to do. And if you want to go out there and play that, you take your slowest man off the field.
But they couldn't because they had to pinch run for Bader because of his hamstring, too. They had nobody left, Jake. They had nobody left.
You just had 3 straight hits to get this team finally on their heels. You got the fans going nuts behind you. And best case scenario, you award them an out. You don't award somebody an out in that situation and with a play that you have never done. Again, they bunted fine. But when you saw he went squared up the first time, everybody on the sides ran in. The players ran to cover first and third. Then somebody on the coaching staff needs to relay something to Nick Castellanos to where he's not standing there with concrete in his cleats.
But
they saw exactly what they did.
Jake, Castellanos isn't a rookie. He's been playing in the league for over 10 years now. He knows how to take a secondary lead. He took his eyes off of Mookie Betts after he looked at him, and he looked back at second base. You want to know what the joke about that is? There's no one covering second base. So no matter how big of a lead you get, you could crawl back to second because the second baseman is now covering first base because Freeman came in for the bunt. There's nobody on second base. So he could have got the biggest secondary lead, and he let Betts get in front of him and then still ran. I don't think there's a coach alive that can scream that in the middle of the play or say, hey, Castellanos, I know you've been playing for a decade in the majors, but you need to make sure you get a secondary league here on the 9th inning when we do a sack bunt. Stott hasn't hit lefties well this year. He used to, but he has not hit them well at all. He laid down a perfect bunt down to the side of the base that you want to, but the Dodgers were more fundamental than the Phillies.
The Phillies would never have made that defensive play.
No, not at all. We would have thrown it into row 7, or nobody would have been covering third. 100% believe that. But my point is, I really feel like that was the right call. Was it executed the right way? No, absolutely not. It was a disaster. But I really think that was the right call because you have Bader coming up next that cannot run. So he's not going to beat something out. So you tell him to lift the ball to the outfield, which he did, which would have scored the run at that point had it worked. I just think it was the right call in that situation. Getting 3 runs in the 9th would have been huge. And then going into extras, you could still pick and choose, and you know how many runs you need if the Dodgers score or don't because you're batting last. I just think that they never fixed fundamentals. They never fixed clutch or crunch time stuff, and they never fixed their approach at the plate. Nothing. And I want to know from a reporter to ask, is Kevin Long telling them this and they're ignoring it, or is Kevin Long not telling them that? Because we need answers on that shit.
The bunt is far from what cost them that game.
Agreed.
I'm frustrated at it. I think it was the wrong decision. I think it was a stupid move. You go out there and you give your opportunity. You give your player the opportunity to go out there and try and win the game or get him over and get 2-1 or anything. They're already reeling. The guy's not throwing it. He's throwing a lot of very hittable pitches. You go out there and give him that shot, but it's far from the reason. We already said the reason. It's your star player is not showing up. I mean, you guys looked me in the eye a couple of weeks ago and I said, what do you think we need to rely on to win in the postseason? And we had Coach Doc. Did you agree with them in saying that it was pitching that was going to carry us this postseason? I know Coach and Sean did. I don't know if it was all three of you, but you all looked me in the eyes and said it's pitching. It's always going to be hitting with this team.
Dan, rerun that. I could have sworn I said that.
No, you said pitching. I'm 100% sure.
I'm going to look this up.
I'll play it. I'll find it.
I believe you. If you're right, I'll say I'm wrong.
Yeah. Stott, by the way, 225 against lefties. Not great.
It was 225 this year. I think he was like 235 the last couple months of the season. He's been okay. But you have the momentum. You've got everything on your side. The crowd's on your side. Like you had the opportunity to either play for the win or play for the tie. And you know what happens every single time you play for the tie? You lose. You're playing to lose. And that's what happened. You got exactly what you wanted. Right.
Guys, we just talked about how this offense sucked and couldn't hit anything. And you want them to stand up there at the plate and try to drive it.
The first time they showed life.
As many runs as the other team because the offense sucks.
The Castellanos double was a closed eyes.
Swinging on their sword instead of getting tagged up at third. Like Cassia has to see Mookie has 3 steps on him out of nowhere. And he's got to return back to second or something. If he didn't get that crazy lead off of the base because nobody was on second, if he doesn't get he's got one job and it's to beat Mook to third.
Yes, because they're not throwing it. If they're neck and neck, there's no way that person is throwing it to Mookie if they're running it because the thought of that ball going out and missing.
Because he's got to throw it through Castellanos.
Yes, and he's also going to throw it like a quarterback and lead him. It's not happening. And again, Cassie's looking back at second base, and there's not a player close to the bag.
Listen,
he was close to the bag.
When it mattered most, the Dodgers made an incredible play to seal the deal. When it mattered most, the 2 innings prior, and Teoscar Hernandez was charging home, and Trey Turner had an opportunity to make a fantastic play when it mattered the most, he choked. Okay, a simple little relay to JT.
Would have been a fantastic
all of this, right? There's a pop out for out 3 in the next at bat.
Yeah.
We don't have any of this conversation because Trey Turner had the opportunity to win that game. They might not put up a damn run. Okay,
and it's a damn shame because Luzardo pitched his fucking ass off.
Luzardo had retiring 17 or 18 people in a row. The stuff of legend on the night where Roy Halladay's kids threw out the first pitch on the anniversary of his no-hitter. It's an embarrassment that he couldn't handle that ball and that play in that moment.
Yeah, because you're saying it would have been a fantastic play.
The game is over. The game, nothing else happens afterwards. I mean, maybe, we alter there's a little butterfly effect that alters the trajectory the next couple innings a little. The Dodgers don't score enough to win. We don't have any of this conversation. If your $300 million player does what he's supposed to do one time defensively, then this is all of that's moot. We'd have none of this conversation if Trey Turner was worth half a shit on defense.
It wasn't even a hard play.
Yeah, you're saying it's a fantastic play. It wouldn't have been. It would have been a routine play.
Brain moment. You're not dissecting. J. Roll's not dissecting the play, taking 3 minutes afterwards to show you where his head's at. No, you flick the ball where the runner's going to be so that JT barely has to move his damn glove when he's tagging somebody out. Instead, he throws it to the other side like he's in Little League, and we lose the game.
And Teoscar hesitated. Teoscar hesitated. He was like, oh, shit, I'm screwed. Like, I hesitated, I stopped, and now I'm committed. I got to go home. And when you're watching that as a Philly fan, you're like, we got him. He's dead.
Yeah.
He's dead to rights. And then you see the throw, and you're like, what? Were you diving or something? Was that
this was one of the few times where even JT got up during the replay. JT looked like, did he really fucking throw me the ball over there? Over my right shoulder? Who is charging home on my right?
Insane. Fundamentals. Look what Mookie does. Look what Mookie does by doing the wheel play and getting the third. And then look what Trey does on a soft grounder hit to him. Can't even throw it 10 yards away to JT. It's fundamentals. That play right there cost you what? 2 runs?
Every single run they scored.
Yeah. No, you're right. Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right.
It was all in that run. That's what I'm saying. The next batter would have been popped out 3.
And then to compound it, you got what? The bases loaded with Trey.
First and third
with Trey, and nothing.
Hit it hard.
How
Right to
poetic.
somebody.
How poetic. Last out of the game. Done.
You know, I would have taken a bunt there.
He might as well just switch back over to the Dodgers uniform.
Jake, if he would have bunted and been thrown out at first, there would have been burnings in the city. There would have been
Same result.
Well, let me ask all you guys now that we kind of like got this off our chest. Where is your passion? Where is your hunger for the Phillies right now? Now that we've had a day to settle on it, they're now Sixers level for me. I was talking to my wife the other day, and I said, not that this is even plausible, but I was like, they could sign Aaron Judge and Shohei Ohtani. Not that could ever happen, and it wouldn't move the needle for me. I'd just be like, okay, like fool me once, shame on you. Like I can't keep doing this.
Not even close to being true.
I can't do that. You're telling me there's any moves in this offseason where you're like, oh yeah.
Don't tell me to act calm and level-headed right now, okay? Because I remember last year cursing just as loud and being like, if they run the same damn team back with Max Kepler, I'm not paying attention.
But is it the same way they lost, Sean?
I told my grandmother, okay? And now it's like the same thing. It's like, go to hell and I'll see you tomorrow, all right? Like whatever the meme is.
Is it not the same way they've lost 3 years in a row, though?
Yeah, you know what? I got to tell you, maybe I'm just a sucker. We went through the whole 2010s after 2011 with just barely competitive baseball. And I missed being in contention so damn much and having a summer to look forward to baseball. Like, as long as there's a chance that we're making the playoffs, I'm probably in. There's a couple people on this team that I really don't care to see much anymore. Anybody that I feel like isn't really given enough hustle or just might not be great for the clubhouse or is consistently underperforming. There's a couple names in there that you can move on from, and I'd actually be pretty happy moving into next year, but it's just going to end up the same damn way. Like, yeah, maybe I'm insane and expecting a different result, but I'll be there, damn it.
Chris, go ahead, Doc.
No, I was just going to say, you got to put it in perspective. This club has been around since 1883, and we have 2 world championships. So, we got about 50 years before the next one. No, I'm just kidding. But they're not going to run it back because they can't. Change has to happen because they're not going to sign everybody. They're going to let people go. So this is going to be a different team. It's not going to be the same team. And I'm not saying that's better or worse, but it's going to be different next year for sure.
I mean, let's be honest. It's got to be worse.
Well,
you're losing
negative, but yes.
I mean, but look, Justin Crawford, we're excited. He's probably going to be an everyday outfielder next year because Casty's gone. Hopefully you can re-sign Bader, and you're looking at an outfield of Bader, Marsh, and Crawford, which, I mean, that's exciting. That's cool. I mean, you don't know what Crawford is, but that's cool. Bohm's gone. He's not coming back.
He's got another year left.
No, Casty's gone.
There's no way.
Casty's gone. Casty doesn't want to be here. We don't want Casty here.
He doesn't want to be here.
Other than the comment he made about the fans, I don't really have anything against Casty. He's been fine.
He's had some big moments, but it's a what have you done for me lately?
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah, he's over the hill. I didn't even find his comments to be that incendiary. I thought they were reasonable. Like, yeah, like if this crowd sucks and is like booing you, yeah, it's negative. Just the same way if they're cheering you, it's positive. Yeah. Like, I kind of took it like, yeah, I mean, yeah, you live by the sword, you die by the sword. Like, there's so many other things. I was literally just like breathing fire and saying Trey Turner under my breath for like the last 2 hours before I went to bed last night. So I really could care less about anything Cassie said afterwards.
Yeah. I mean, JT's gone. You have no idea who's going to play catcher. You got nobody in the wings. So it's going to be a free agent, or you're going to say, Marshawn, congratulations. You're our guy, which you really can't do if you want to be a serious team. If you have the payroll that we already have locked up on the books, You can't have Marchand be your everyday catcher. Schwarber, it's a coin flip for me. I have no idea. Doc, you're saying let him walk.
Let him walk. I mean, what good is it? Oh, he's great in the regular season. Who cares?
Yeah.
He's at the end of his career. Put somebody else at DH. God knows we have somebody else that could play there. And just let him go. I mean, let him get his money somewhere else. Let some other city worry about his home runs in the regular season and his lack of productivity in the postseason. And I love Schwarber. Schwarber, but I'm like, it's a matter of we've paid too many people too much money, and you got to go. And then who knows if Wheeler comes back and what he's going to be. He was a big part of the early part of this season, and you're going to lose those wins if he doesn't come back. I think it's going to be a bit of a mess.
Well,
I was trying to be optimistic, but
it's a mess right now.
Yeah,
your timeline's still about the same, where he might come back.
Yeah, but then you look at it.
Year.
He already talked about retirement, right? And that was before the injury. So, I think he does. I feel the fighter in him is not going to go out the way he went out. And I think he wants to show, but I don't know how long he's going to play.
You're saying like he may want to, but physically, will he be able to?
I think he'll be able to.
Next year.
The odds are in his favor that he can return. It's the will, it's the heart, it's the desire. If he doesn't have it, he's not going to be out there.
But it wouldn't be in April, right?
Well, the return on average is about 6 months. Yeah, I mean, I think it'd be somewhere in the season. I don't think he'd do I don't think he'd do spring training, but I think he'd be out there reasonably early.
All right.
He'd about 6 months. Yeah, but it's all about the want to at this point. He's had a great career, and
yeah, no, I'm kind of like, I hate to say it because I do love Schwarber. I'm kind of in the same camp as you. Like, we've gotten bit by giving these aging veteran stars these massive contracts, and that's across all Philadelphia sports. And like at some point, you need to just allocate that money somewhere else. And like we just said, we need a third baseman. We're going to need a catcher. We may need another starting pitcher. We've talked about on this podcast that we don't know what Painter is, if he's going to be a disappointment, if he's going to be the star that we all thought he was going to be. But Ranger Suarez is most likely gone. He's not even in his last inning at Citizens Bank Park, was likely in the regular season, which is just an abomination to have he's statistically one of the greatest postseason pitchers in MLB history, and you don't use him.
You don't think they'd keep one? You don't think they'd keep one of the two, Schwarber, Ranger?
I mean,
I think
they're going to offer both of them a contract.
I mean, you gotta think though, like it's going to pull from somewhere else if you end up paying Schwarber $35 million a season, right? Say goodbye to Ranger, say goodbye to pretty much whoever is you planned on paying. You're just, if you re-sign Schwarber, you're planning on bringing up the JT Crawfords.
Well, JT Crawford, I think, is up no matter what. Kepler's gone. You're going to try to re-sign Bader, and Cassie's gone. So Crawford's got a sure line path to the outfield next season.
Sure, just whoever else though, like is going to be cheap.
Yeah, Aiden Miller, he can't play third.
This team
probably start Sosa at third,
right? But this team has spent up to as much as it feels comfortable spending, right? This is the payroll, guys. It's not going to go up considerably. It's not probably not going to go down, thankfully. But
I think the issue with the Schwarber thing is like to Doc's point, like he didn't show up in the playoffs and he didn't, do anything in the playoffs. But you need him to get to the playoffs, is what the thing is. Because if you take that bat out of this lineup, Jake, this is the analogy we used when Smitty was our number one wide receiver, and we said if that guy goes down, it's bad. You take Schwarber's bat out of this lineup, where's the power coming from?
40% of our home runs.
Yeah, who's hitting home runs on this team? I know Bryce, but like he's a 20 home run guy anymore.
It's okay. He's been all right. And for the record, I think we should do our damnedest to try to re-sign Schwarber. Right? I think we're being a little emotional. Totally understand.
I think you make an offer.
Rash.
I don't think you overpay to keep him.
No. Yeah, because I think you have to be fiscally responsible, because you're only going to pay so much and you only have so many to go around, and you're going to pay a guy that, he had a great season, but this is a contract year. You're not guaranteed this productivity next year.
No,
No, that's
make an offer.
How Cassie duped you for 5 years on $100 million, right?
There you go. Yeah.
And how he's performed in the playoffs probably doesn't drive the price up exactly. So
the fact that he's primarily a DH too kind of doesn't drive the price up too much either. It's not like, I don't know if other teams are going to feel comfortable sticking him in the outfield. If that's
listen, somebody will pay him. It's going to take one team.
I think it's either us or Cincinnati Reds, his hometown.
Yeah.
I think that's literally it. And you're probably going to get a cat and mouse game depending on his agent, but we'll see.
We'll see. No, it's going to be a completely different looking team. And again, he hasn't performed in the playoffs yet. Phillies haven't yet been eliminated. Aaron Nola's pitching.
Yeah, I don't know.
Aaron Nola's pitching, so it doesn't look great.
Yeah, this whole whether or not I want Rob Thompson back pretty much lies on the shoulders of Aaron Nola tomorrow.
Yeah, but
guys, doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how long.
It doesn't matter.
Doesn't
Isn't
matter
that a
how long.
foregone conclusion? He's gone.
Yeah, listen, if Ranger Suarez sits in the bullpen and hangs out and doesn't throw a damn pitch right after we've already talked about, statistically speaking, he's been one of the best postseason performers in MLB history. You have that guy sitting on ice right now, and Aaron Nola gives up 4 runs in 4 in a third inning. No, this is going to blow up in your face. What is the upside of this? Like there might not be tomorrow. Like this is it. We cannot lose a single game in this series.
hypothetically,
what is the upside here? What are we shelving anybody for? Why hasn't he pitched already? And what makes you think that Aaron Nola's a higher quality start right now than Ranger Suarez?
hypothetically, if Ranger goes out there and doesn't pitch well, is it even on him? He hasn't pitched in forever.
I don't think it matters how well Nola or Ranger pitch.
What is that?
You're going against Yamamoto tomorrow, right? Isn't that it?
Yeah.
So what? So let's just say best case scenario, Nola replicates Luzardo, which would be amazing. Which would be an amazing start.
We're down 2-0.
Yeah, and you're down 2-0. Like, what are we talking about?
Then we probably just argue about the bats all off season. That's it.
Cool.
Now you see what I'm talking about at the beginning of this episode.
Aaron
Where I was
has
like,
a bad start, then I'm going to be calling for Rob Thompson's head. Okay. If he has a good
the
start,
fact that you're not already,
That's
the
what I'm
fact that
surprised
you're not
on.
already is pathetic.
I
get it. You love Ryan Reynolds. Like, I understand. You have a soft spot for Canadians. Like, but come on, the guy
I think
sucks.
Ryan Reynolds is probably a jerk in real life, if I had to guess.
Yeah.
I see a lot of him in me. I see a lot of me in him. I think one of these he grows up, he might be, half the man I am. But I think just in, one-on-one personal situations, he doesn't seem like a particularly pleasant individual.
What are we talking about here, guys? What are we talking about?
Chris,
I want to comment on. So, Coach made a point earlier. Obviously, Cassie coming out and talking about the fans, how it's a negative. I was at the World Series game against the Astros where we got no-no'd, the combination no-no.
Damn, I can tell you one where we shelled him.
Yeah, I was. So what's funny is me and my dad were trying to pick out tickets, and we ended up going the game that we went for whatever reason. I was like, I think it was Ranger on the mound, and I was like, I really wanted to see Ranger or something in my game, but we got no-no'd, right? Or it was something like that. But yeah, so coming from that perspective, and anybody on social media that's saying, what's the crowd doing? Crowd's got to get into it. Fuck that. I'm telling you, there's nothing to cheer about in a situation like that. It is somber. So unless you've been in that situation, and I have, and I'm not gonna, like, I think anybody that says like, hey, get on your feet and cheer, what the fuck for? Like, so no, cut that out. That's absolute BS. And what Cassie said, he's a pretty laid back dude, so I don't think he meant it as a shot.
No, I'm hot.
But no, I agree. Initially I was like, what the fuck? Why would you even say that? It's the worst possible thing to say. I'm glad to also see that Bryce said what he said. I don't think it's pandering. I think it's legitimate. But anywho, that's my take on what's going on.
Did Bryce say he sucks or something? I missed that.
No, Bryce was like,
fine.
yeah, he was like, yeah, like they'll boo me. I love this city, and the typical kind of Bryce go
Great.
Philly. Yeah.
Well,
but
get used to it, bud.
When they boo us, we deserve it. Like,
yeah, he did, and he's like, I'll probably get booed tomorrow night or whatever. So he took that Philly stance. Like the initial thing I read was that he scoffed at the answer. I don't know if he knows.
I don't see how he did at all.
Yeah, so like I don't know if he knows that what Cassie said, if he knows like all the what's going around in the media. But I was glad to see that he was like, no, fuck that. We deserve it. It's like, yeah, you do. Thank you. I agree.
Chris, you on Team Rob?
Fire Rob. This is insanity. Absolutely fire him. You can't continue to do again insanity. We just keep doing the same thing. You run back the same players. You run back the same coaches. You've been talking about fucking Kevin Long for as long as I can remember. Jake, guy's still there. So change it up, shake it up.
Yeah.
Do something. Goddamn.
Not me.
Not me.
Not me.
But you can't keep Kevin Long and Cotham, and
Exactly.
I feel like it's got to be a clean sweep.
Yeah, and like I'm tired of hearing, oh, Kevin Long is such a respected hitting coach around the league. Caleb Cotham is known throughout all inner circles as one of the top pitching coaches in all of baseball. Rob Thompson in his regular season win percentage, I don't care. I don't give a fuck. You know who also was a great offensive mind? Eric Bieniemy. He was viewed as the best offensive mind.
It feels like we're watching Doc get schooled by Nick Nurse. The one year that we got smoked by the Raptors in the playoffs.
And the Dodgers manager isn't known as some genius.
No, but like when the game slows down and you can really analyze every single move for what it's worth because it matters, Thompson's come up short every single time.
Yeah, it's easier to manage smart players. It's easier to manage smart players. Yeah. Like they had a huddle on the mound before that at bat. They discussed the wheel play. They knew what they were going to do.
They are smart.
They knew what they were going to do. Like when Bryson Stott laid down that bunt, not a single person panicked. That was a smooth operation. So smooth. Wow, we're like a fire drill with kindergartners just all over the place, don't know what we're doing. Like, it's unbelievable.
It is. It is, but here it is. Fire Rob, fire Kevin, fire Caleb.
Fire the Phillies. Fire them all.
Fire the Phillies. Get them out of here. Get out of here.
Bring the Athletics back. Bring them over here. Have them play.
Philadelphia A's. I think the Philadelphia A's in like the 15 years they're here have as many World Series or more than the Philadelphia Phillies.
Do something with that Subaru Park, man. If nobody's watching soccer, I feel like we could just do a little baseball, soccer kind of. Just bring them over. Come on. Who says no?
Let's also get rid of the RAV fourth inning. Let's also get rid of that. It's got to be the worst inning in baseball history.
The Philadelphia Athletics have 5 world championships. The Philadelphia Phillies have 2. That's so bad.
There was 8 teams, and the only round of the playoffs was the World Series.
I don't care. I don't care. They have 5.
So do we bring back? Do we bring back Dancing on My Own just one last time?
Absolutely. Chris, log off. Sign off.
See you guys.
By the way, you want to talk about a clown organization? Do not play the Duran entrance when you're down 3 runs.
Listen, we paid for the Duran entrance. We're gonna do the damn Duran entrance.
Like doing the wave when you're getting your ass beat by like 20 in football. Like I'm not doing the wave.
These fireworks are non-refundable.
There's nothing to cheer about in that, scenario.
It's like when the Eagles just get scored on and then they do a salute to service to some poor bastard who was in the military and no one is cheering him because they're just pissed off. It's like, know the time to do that, you know. I know it's that time.
Angry ass claps like
like you want
thank you for your service,
but you know what?
Have you guys seen that meme that it's like Chris Paul hits a huge 3 to cut the deficit to 42? Like,
yeah,
that's what it feels like. Hell yeah, let's cheer for that huge 3-pointer. Like, what? Yeah. What do we do? Guys, we need to be a better organization than this. We just have to. The walk-up songs, I don't need to hear A-OK as you're getting your ass blown out, you know, another year in the playoffs. I don't need to hear all your cute little songs. You don't deserve a walk-up song. If you're losing, the walk-up song shouldn't exist. Just get up into the box.
Just fucking silent.
Yeah. Or play crickets. Play crickets over the intercom system. I want to hear nothing but crickets chirping.
Guys, Today's episode is brought to you by White Glove Car Wash. Man, it feels like we just never get a break. We go from salt and brine on the roads right into pollen season, and our car never seems to be as clean as we needed it to be. That's where White Glove steps in. They're offering unlimited car wash packages for as low as $20 a month. You can take your car in daily and make sure that it is shiny, squeaky clean like you always want it to be, and not have to worry about cleaning it yourself. And with a satisfaction guarantee, you will never have to worry about it being just right. With locations in Delaware, Pennsylvania, and New Jersey, you are never too far from the glove. Family owned and operated for over 40 years, go out and support small businesses this year and support your car by giving it the best car wash possible. Just ask your phone to take you to White Glove Car Wash and be taken to the nearest location to you, and let them give you the best car wash you have ever experienced. Guys, what about the icing on the cake? I mean, at least our Birds played.
Oh, fuck you.
Dude, at this point, I don't even remember the Eagles game. I have
No, I do.
Look, and this is like with me saying, oh, is it the offense? Is it Rob Thompson? Oh, is it the offense? Is it the officials? Like, first of all, Cowboys fans clearly are illiterate because, like, yeah, I tweeted how upset I was about the officiating. Under that tweet in the thread, I quote tweeted that tweet, and I had a separate tweet all saying, while I'm extremely upset at the officiating, that could have cost us the game. The major problem on this team is the Philadelphia Eagles and their offense. The Eagles played like shit. They are the main issue. But at the same time, the officiating was terrible. And we likely win one of those stupid, ugly wins that have us 5-0 right now had they made correct calls in crucial moments. That can be true, but it never should have gotten to that. Like, I just want that known. My stance, I don't know what your guys' stances are. My stance is the officiating sucked. It very well could have or did cost us an ugly win, but it never should have gotten to that. The offense was absolutely abysmal, and they need to do better.
Well, I mean, watching that game, when you as a unit, the refs get together and they say, okay, this is intentional grounding. They call it intentional grounding. Then they pull the flag. That's just tells me that crew had no clue what they were doing. And there was no way they were going to give that pass interference so the Eagles could win on a walk-off tush push. I'm sure Roger Goodell was from London calling, going, oh, don't let this happen. Don't let this happen.
Mean, that's the thing. You're saying they have no idea what they're doing. Is that what your stance is? Do you feel as though they don't know what they're doing? Or do you feel as though they were told, we are not giving them the benefit? That is not a fumble. That's an incomplete pass. No, that is not intentional grounding. There was a guy in the stadium that was wearing a Broncos jersey. No, that isn't pass interference. It was mutual hand fighting. It's not they don't know what they're doing. It's they were told, do not let the Eagles win this game.
Maybe, but also you got Bo Nix, who's like Sidney Crosby, yelling about every play. And then you got Sean Payton crying like a you-know-what the whole time in their face. And they're like, oh, this is Sean Payton. He must be right.
I thought we were going to get a Doc Cuts episode. Those are the best.
Yeah, but I mean, but really, what I saw the game was lost when AJ didn't run out that route. He was wide open, and that was a great throw by Jalen. He gave up because he's like, oh, it's not going to me. And I don't want to hear one word from AJ Brown for the rest of the season. He had his chance to be a superstar, and he gave up on the play, thought it wasn't coming to him, acted like a diva. Bullshit. I don't want to hear anything from him anymore. I mean, Devontae Smith's getting killed in the middle, getting hit. He's like 180 pounds soaking wet. He goes right up the middle, gets hit by these safeties, Lua Tatsumoto, whatever that guy's name is. But he takes it, and AJ has to have the glory. He wants us to say AO, which I will never say in the game. AJ, I'm never saying it. His little AO thing, which is horseshit. He's got to prove himself, and that he lost. I mean, in my opinion, there were a lot of reasons, but that play would have put them to bed, and the Broncos would have been done. But he fell short, and that's where the game just turned.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, I'll retweet that because it's 100% true, right? Like when that ball went up by Jalen, I was like, oh shit, I wish he put a little air underneath that. So immediately I was like, that's a fucking dart. But then I saw kind of after the play, AJ kind of slowed up, and I was like, that's the game. Like that was the game right there. But Jake, two things can be true at once. I do think, with Doc, I totally agree with the AJ thing, but the referees certainly played a huge problem here. This was the worst officiated game I've ever seen in my life. I'm not just saying as an Eagles fan. I watch a lot of football. That was the worst officiated game I've ever seen in my life. Doc talked about the DPI, right? So yeah, maybe you don't want to have us end the game that way. Last play of the game, you want to let the boys play. Fine, whatever. The Coop fucking forced fumble. I don't know how they watched the slow-mo of it, and that proved that it was not a fumble. That, to me, the burden of proof would be you have to show me what overturns this, right? So
right.
What in that video did they see? We're like, nope, because that looked like every other fumble that is exactly. So I don't know what they saw. And then the intentional grounding thing was absolute bizarreness.
I think we saw two rulings that were, I guess, technically by the book, but that the book needs to change. Because as soon as that wrist starts to move forward, like it's a forward pass, but clearly like there has to be some sort of like premeditated release of the ball. Like even if your wrist is moving forward, there's still a good 1.5 feet before you actually planned on releasing the ball. And then it just the same with picking up that flag later on in the fourth, right, where they're saying, well, there was a runner a receiver in the vicinity. It's like, okay, well, you can't just like throw the ball without looking and kind of hope that there was a receiver 30 yards downfield that you just got the right latitude and longitude for. Right, that it was going in the same the approximate angle. If you just chuck the damn ball to not take the sack, like you have to be able to use your discretion and call it and not say, well, if you just drew a line from the angle of his arm, eventually you do get to a receiver here. But those are just two rules that need to change this offseason. And they're just not focusing on because we have the damn tush push taking all the damn attention away from everything.
And he was in the grasp. I mean, it's like, okay, I don't want to take a sack. I'm just going to chuck the ball. I mean, that's just not football. I mean, it's like you want to protect the quarterback, then give us that call. You can't have it both ways.
It says it right in the name, intentional grounding. Like there was no intent for a receiver to catch the ball.
Absolutely.
I think
what's vicinity? What's vicinity?
Yeah.
Is that
half of the field?
So that just open to subjectivity, as is at what point a wrist is coming forward. Like it. That's a rule that somebody tweeted this. I'm sorry, I forget who it was, but that is a rule born out of the technology that we have to slow a play down and zoom in so closely that you have to determine when that arm's coming. It was a live ball. Everybody thought it was a fumble.
So I want to tell you guys how stupid that is to overturn it, because the original ruling was a fumble, right? So you need indisputable evidence that he was throwing the ball forward. And what I was thinking was, if you guys remember quarterback Byron Leftwich, his throwing motion, he had a elongated throwing. So he would throw from back here. So technically at this point, he's going forward, but the ball's behind him. He's still moving his arm forward. And then Phillip Rivers was a sidearm quarterback. So he'd be here and he'd be like this, and his arm would be going forward. So you're telling me that an arm going forward is different depending on which quarterback it is, instead of a universal rule of is that hand open? Because Leftwich starts his motion from back here. Rivers starts his shorter. So why is it not the original ruling that it's a fumble? Because you saw Bo Nix's arm at a 90-degree angle. That doesn't mean he was throwing forward and releasing. Just because the arm is going forward doesn't mean the ball is out of his hands at that point. It didn't make sense to me. Now, if you ruled that incomplete to begin with, I'd be like, all right, too close, can't overturn it. But the original ruling was a fumble. And one play we didn't talk about, they tried to give the Broncos free points before the half on like a 3rd and 20, where they chucked it up and they called a phantom PI on Ringo right before half, if you remember. They picked up the flag because upon review, it was like, God, like I don't even think Ringo maybe even like barely had a finger grazing him, and they were about to give them a free 50 yards to have 1st and goal at the 2. But Goddard can get pulled down and no call, right? Woo!
And you forgot the Dotson catch.
Yeah, Dotson catches the ball. You see possession, 2 feet.
Mm-hmm. They kept showing that up there because it's like it's obviously a catch. You're the home team. You're not going to show anything that's not going in your favor. They showed it about 20 times, and everybody's like,
and they freeze framed it.
They paused it. Yeah.
Well, and to Jake's point, I think you said this on Twitter, Jake. Coop was held on the sack.
Yeah, Coop was held 3 separate times. At pretty much every time he rushed the passer, he got great penetration, and he is getting absolutely mugged. hand inside of the shoulder pad, just spinning him around. And every time it was a massive no call. You don't get the call on the interception or on the fumble. They end up ruling it incompletion. Obviously, even if you ruled an incompletion, but you call the flag on the holding, massive difference, likely no points there. Another play, it was like a third, and I don't remember exactly what it was, but it ended up being a 9-yard gain where Coop was in the backfield for what could have been a 7-yard loss. Same thing, hand inside of the shoulder pad, spinning him entirely around. He has a clear path to the runner. And what's killing me is the ref had a clear point of view to him. And if you're looking at him, he's right there. It's not like, oh, I was watching the ball carrier. He is right at the ball carrier, completely obstructed. He's doing everything he can to get the call. He's throwing his hands up like I can't do anything, nothing. And multiple times, Moro Ajomo is getting mugged out there. He's getting good penetration, getting ripped down from every angle, no call whatsoever. So it's not like you call that hold on Toth. Okay, he held. You got the call. I'm not mad at you making that call there. Call the hold on the damn Broncos. If we commit a penalty, I don't want us to get away with it. But it better be a damn good penalty, and you better call it both ways.
The Zach Bond personal foul was bullshit too.
Yeah. What do you want him to do? The guy's fighting for yards.
He was still stretching for the first down.
He was jumping.
Bond was in midair by the time the guy was down.
Yeah. He can't slow down. He can't turn that off. I mean, the guy's crawling, army crawling for the first down, what Bond thinks is the first down, right? And he made a football play.
Yeah. You wanted to just go over and Pro Bowl him and just boop.
Yeah.
Give him a little two-hand touch. We're playing football here. Are we kidding? Are we kidding ourselves? This was such an egregious officiating crew and performance. And it's to Doc's point, and the fact of, we allow it to go to replay, and it's the NFL that decided it was an incomplete pass, not this officiating crew. They call it a intentional grounding, and then their excuse was, we have official to official radio communications, and one of our guys wasn't working. So I had thought that we all agreed it was intentional grounding, and I called it, and then he ran over to me and was like, no, it wasn't. Guy wasn't in the same zip code as the play. And
the guy that threw the grounding was the one next to the receiver that was standing right there. So who would have overruled him?
Yeah.
I don't understand.
No, it tells me there's there is something fishy in the air.
There's good and evil, right? The Chiefs are the good. We're the evil. That's just how it has to.
And did you guys watch that game last night? Did you guys watch that game last night? The pass interference. No, guys, it was a yard, and the refs are like, "You're right, Pat. You're right."
Yeah.
And how many times have the Eagles been called for an eligible man downfield or offensive pass interference on a pick play? How many times have we talked about it?
Yeah. And then, Coach, you were saying that the illegal motion was the correct call.
Yeah, I'm saying yes, but
yeah,
stupid rule again, called correctly, but needs to be changed. Where's the competitive advantage in that?
Yeah. So, Coach, you froze there. You were saying it was a penalty on the illegal motion on the fourth down play that Smitty got 30 yards on.
So here's what I heard it explained to me by one of these rules people on Twitter. They said, by the letter of the law, if the quarterback is calling people in motion, the quarterback has to be set. But he goes, in this instance, 99 times out of 100, you don't count the quarterback as somebody in motion. This happens all the time. All Jalen was doing was motioning Barkley so that he could see if it was man or zone. That's it. And then when he saw it, he said, all right, come back. I got it. And then said, hike. That's not two men in motion. You're abusing the letter of the law. That's like when you hear people say, well, technically you could call holding on every play. That's literally if a ref called holding on every single play because, well, I saw your finger go like that. If we're being sticklers to that. But you can't be a stickler in that, Jake. You cannot be a stickler in that. And then don't call a pass interference on Dallas Goedert. Call the intentional grounding and then overrule it. Overrule Bo Nix's fumble. You can't
unnecessary roughness on Bond.
And then unnecessary roughness on Bond. It doesn't make sense to
If
me.
I'm not mistaken, what wasn't it because was it Dotson or Smith? I don't know who actually got called for the first person in motion. They was just checking with the official to see if they were on or off the line.
Yeah, and he
were
was
adjusting.
set, and he got set. So it wasn't a legal formation. They said 2 men in motion, which
Because
didn't
he
make
was
sense.
he wasn't quite off the line. That's literally all it was. That was the
I thought they
motion.
called it on Hurts and Saquon.
It was
Okay,
on
so
Saquon, yeah.
Here's something interesting though about that, Sean. I don't know if you guys remember back to the Carson Wentz era of the Eagles, but we were playing the Seattle Seahawks, and Zach Ertz scored a long touchdown to put us up in the fourth quarter, like a minute to go. They called it back. It was like a 60-yard touchdown, longest of Zach's career, because they said Nelson Aguilar was an illegal formation. I went off on Twitter and Facebook, everything. You see Aguilar line up, Sean, like you said, point to the referee and go, I'm on. Referee goes like this, Aguilar goes like this. They snap the play. Then they say Aguilar wasn't on the line. But as a receiver myself and a coaching receivers, you look to the side, Judge. You always see receivers do this, right? Point. It said, am I good? Am I on? And they'll tell you, no, back it up. You can't cover him up. Or yes, you're good to go. If the referee gives you a thumbs up, like that's all that should mean. You can't call a penalty after the fact. You can't.
Yeah.
Well, they did.
I know, but I'm just
That wasn't the referee thumbs up. That was the Jalen Hurts I'm not concussed thumbs up.
hey buddy, how you doing? Yeah, good to see you.
I'm good.
Yeah. Well,
What a weekend.
Doc, we left another game a little bit banged up. Big one of note, Landon Dickerson now missing time with his third separate injury. This one being an ankle injury. You saw him get rolled up on. I didn't see any kind of crazy hyper extension, any kind of weird rotation. It looked pretty minimal, but they ruled him out fairly quickly. What is there anything you can tell us about that? Is it they aren't doing any practices this week? It's all walkthroughs. So what should we look for to see if he's got any hope of playing on Thursday?
I honestly don't think he's going to play on Thursday. I mean, if you recall, he had 2 ankle surgeries when he was in Alabama, so he's had a history there. A lot of these guys just have banged up ankles. I mean, I look at X-rays of guys that played in the NFL, and I'm like, oh my God, how do you walk on this? So I think he just hit it, and you could tell he instantly was limping, and I'm like, yeah. And this is something that it's so hard. You're forced. You're like holding people back, and you rely on your ankle. I think he's probably got a little laxity, a little swelling. All that stuff has to calm down, and a short turnaround time is not conducive to getting him on the field. I would be stunned if he's on the field. I mean, he shocked us.
Another non-participant today.
Yeah, he shocked us before, with the knee surgery and the back issue and all this stuff. And he's a warrior, but I just think he's not going to play for a week or two.
Okay. And then, Doc, it appeared that Grant Calcaterra hurt what I thought had to be a back injury. They're calling it an oblique injury. It looked like it occurred right on that play where he extended a play, kind of dove with his back towards the guy to shield himself, the ball, and try to get a few more yards. And it looked like he got speared right in the back.
Yeah, I thought that he had a rib injury because they took him into the tunnel to get I think they got an X-ray in game because I think they may have thought he broke a rib. But yeah, an oblique, it's a muscle strain. Those are tough. I mean, because you're getting hit there, and I would be surprised if he plays on Thursday too. I think he's probably out at least for one game. It's just hard to recover that quickly. And I'm sure it was it was significant enough that he instantly left the game. Sometimes you don't notice these till afterwards, but if you notice it right away, they're probably just going to say, okay, short week, let him rest, get him better.
And then the biggest one of note, Saquon Barkley only had 9 carries on the day.
Yeah.
Seems like he tweaked his knee, and I think it was the second quarter of the game. He's been limited. Again, these are all estimated reports because they're not having any official practices this week, just walkthroughs. But they said he, estimated that he'd be limited participant in practice with a knee injury. He has come out and said that he is optimistic and he's going to do his best to go out there and play against his old team and play there on Thursday. Is there anything you can really tell us about that? And then is the game in the Link or at MetLife?
New York.
Okay, New York. We've already seen what this field can do to players, specifically their knees. Is there any part of you that's a little hesitant to have them go out there with a knee that's already not 100% and play on the worst surface known to man?
So first of all, he got hurt in the second quarter. when was his touchdown? In the third quarter when he had the 50-yarder? I think he's fine. He might have had a bone or something like that. It scares me, anybody playing on that turf, but Saquon's been there. He knows that field. And there's no ever any guarantee, but if he's not 100%, I may not start him and only use him if I need to, but I think he's going to be fine. I mean, he played he didn't get many carries in the second half, and that may be part of the explanation, but he had a 50-yard touchdown, and he looked totally fine running that route and catching that ball. So my feeling is they're going to baby him, see how he feels. He's probably going to be a game time decision. But again, he wouldn't shock me if he was in the game. I think he's going to play.
Guys, you guys got any other questions for Doc as pertains to Philadelphia athletes and their injuries?
Probably not suitable for the pod.
We'll save it for talking after dark.
Yeah.
Doc, is it normal for Philadelphia star hitters to grow vaginas midway through?
Yeah, well, in this day and age, it's not unusual.
Are we expecting to see everybody is following who they're following, not following? Are we expecting to see new pronouns in our star players' bios?
Gone and no longer here are two that I'd look forward to seeing.
Yeah.
Fair. Yeah, so big matchup Thursday. Probably not going to be able to get a preview episode out there for this game. Real quick, score predictions, players of the game. Doc, you got a little something you want to spit out?
No, I think you just call your buddy Kellen and say, "Well, how did you guys beat him?" And he'll be like, "Blah, it's not going to be that hard a recipe, So I think they take it out on the Giants. I think their frustrations are going to be taken out on the Giants. And if their offensive line does what they should be doing and haven't done in a while, but if they play a good game, I think they're going to win by over 10 points. I'll say 35-20.
Sorry, speaking of offensive line, sorry, Nikki. Sorry, Jordan. It was a rough weekend.
Yeah, man.
That's a chest.
Whole apology video.
No, you know what? No, fuck that. Jordan
Come on.
Yeah.
Jordan had a bad game. Like, he had a bad game. Like, suck it up.
Why is that wrong to say? Why is that a bad thing?
It's not.
Yeah,
It's not.
he had a bad game. I said he had an awful game because he had an awful game. The entire offensive line did, but when he's an all-pro player and a top 3 left tackle in the league, I'm going to talk about him more than I'm going to talk about Brett Toth. Like, he had a bad game. I'm sorry that I had to call him out like that, but again, I'm not. Like,
There's not a player that we don't call out.
Yeah, we don't pull punches here. Like, he had a very, very bad game. Every sack, it looks like Jordan standing there not blocking anybody. It was a bad game. He's one of the best left tackles in the league. I fully expect him to finish as a Pro Bowler, possibly an All-Pro. That was not a highlight game. You're not putting that on his huddle tape, sending it to junior colleges.
They're going to have their hands full on Thursday. I'll tell you what, with that Giants.
Dexter Lawrence questionable.
Dexter Lawrence versus Brett Toth. That's an interesting matchup.
Give me Toth, offensive player of the game.
Because he doesn't get Jalen killed, that'll be
Yeah.
offensive player of the game.
Yeah. Also interesting that comes after the week of Spike Eskin asking Jordan Mailata, hey, you've seen brutal injuries. Is it ever in your mind that if you don't do your job, that could happen to somebody else? What a dumb question. What a moron that entire organization is.
Can't wait till they're gone.
WIP, not the Eagles.
We've already gotten rid of the Phillies, man. We get rid of the Eagles next.
Yeah, I mean, really, I'm just going to jump way ahead, and then we're still going to get score predictions. Final thoughts, let's go Flyers. But, Coach, score prediction?
I'm going to go 27-17 Eagles. Player of the game is Devontae Smith.
Another Devontae game. Chris?
42-10. I think we're gonna fucking destroy these guys. I think the Giants falling after what happened last week is really, really unfortunate for them. Because I think this team's gonna come out fired up. Jalen basically confirmed this meeting did happen, and I think I want to first off thank Saquon because I imagine he's the mediator here between the two, and just really, really thankful that happened now. And we didn't have to continue all this bullshit about does AJ want out? I'm really thankful for that. But I think we're going to blow the doors open on these guys. And I think it's an AJ Brown game. So he's my player of the game.
Chris, we doing a little Novacare takeover to get the boys back together.
I mean,
We don't
I'm
have jobs.
down. We don't. That's what the internet says. So
Must be true.
I'm in. Yeah.
Do we
All
need
right,
to
don't
stand
tell
out
me
in front
the
of
good
Novacare with the sign that says, "Why can't we be friends?"
Yeah, I think that'd be
I mean,
honestly that would
just
go
for
over.
friends.
That would go over so much better than our last one.
Yeah.
I don't know that it would. Right.
But I'm just gonna hold a sign that says my hash, like my username on Twitter, just so everybody knows to come visit me. So
That
everyone
you're-
gets super
you're-
pissed off about
They'll
that.
be all
So,
super nice about that for sure.
yeah.
Football
Everyone's
is good.
super logical. Yeah.
Yeah,
Listen, I think this is like a
go get the
Jackson
Novacare.
Dart
Just have let's go
welcome.
Flyers signs.
Yeah.
This is like a Jackson Dart welcome to the NFL. Like the Eagles defense finally shows up and gets a sack. I don't know if they know that they can do that. Yeah, and I know we had an offensive meeting, but maybe a defensive meeting that says, "Hey, you can tackle the quarterback too." We're not going to go too crazy into it, but I think this is to me or Chris. I think this has got to be a big AJ Brown game. There's been too much talk about too good of a receiver, and they have to show this guy some love and get him the ball early, often. I'm thinking like 130 yards and 2 touchdowns here often. Final score, I'm going to go Birds 31, Giants 18.
Doc, are we missing something? You seem to be pretty upset about something you saw on
He's
your
gonna
phone.
I'm
scream
upset
AO.
about the give AJ love. Yeah, do your job. Bill Belichick. do your
Listen,
job.
I'm not saying
You're
it's
afraid of calling
warranted.
out Mailata. I'm not afraid of calling out AJ Brown. He had his
There it
moment.
is.
He said his piece, and he played like ass. And he had the chance to win the game. We give him every opportunity. Enough. Fuck him. Throw it to Smith. That's my player.
The final score, a lot to a little. Go Birds.